So a few hours ago, the NFL owners have approved the proposal for NFL players to participate in flag football for the 2028 Olympics. We'll get into an article more detail about it, but the games will be set on from July 14th to the 30th that year. And again, that's there's a lot of variables that go into that, the injury aspect, training camp as well, and how many set players can go with that. So going in here quickly showing what Roger Goodell said in here. It's this quote: "It's an incredible honor for any athlete to represent their country in the Olympics, which is a principle of global sports." NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said in the press release, "I know firsthand that the inclusion of flag football in the Olympics has sparked a tremendous amount of excitement among NFL players interested in the chance to compete for their country at the world stage. We are thrilled that they will now have a chance." The resolution approved Tuesday by a 32-0 vote means the NFL will now work with NFL Players Association and International Federation of American Football and relevant Olympic authorities to implement rules governing the participation of NFL players in the 2028 LA Games. The NFL conditions proposed last week stated that no more than one player per NFL team can play in the Olympics, in addition to each NFL's team's designated international player. There will be 60 total men's flag football players at the NFL LA Games, 10 for each of the 6 teams. The Olympic flag football schedule also must not unreasonably conflict with the NFL's commitment. The LA Games run from July 14th to the 30th, like we talked about, 2028. The NFL preseason training camps typically open in mid to late July, with the preseason games starting in early August. Though the league is on board, both the IFAF and the USA Football will also have to approve the NFL players becoming Olympians in 2028, which is no issue with that. That'll be well ironed out before we even get to 2028. But for my thought on that, it just to me it's dumb. When you're talking about, if let's say for example, if it's almost similar to like the Dream Team for the NBA in the 90s, where they allowed them to go in there and you had the greatest group of talent all together on one team, and they just absolutely steamrolled everybody. It was not even close. It was not a competition. Was it exciting to see that for the world stage, to see them play internationally and see all these guys on one team? Yes, it was. But in terms of competitiveness, there was nothing with that. And I view that similar to the NFL. If you truly had all the top players at that point in 2028 come together and play, there is no competition whatsoever. And I don't buy into the idea that flag football is different from the NFL. They already play that in the Pro Bowl. Now, there might be some small changes for rules and so forth in terms of actual flag football than what the NFL does in the Pro Bowl, but they'll figure it out. I mean, again, when you're talking about the elite talent, you talk about at that point in 2020, you have maybe Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, players that might even be in the NFL right now. They'll be in there as well. So you have that. The running backs, you have maybe Bijan Robinson, Jamar Gibbs, Ashton Jenney at that point, just kind of naming younger running backs. Quarterbacks, at that point, I don't know, like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Daniels. There might be quarterbacks we haven't mentioned yet that aren't even in the league. So, there is a lot of choices to go with at that point. Like I said, for those quarterbacks. And again, if you put that team together, who's going to stand in their way? Who is going to be able to compete with them? I'm sorry, I just don't see that whatsoever. This to me just feels like it's just a gimme award, just an easy gold medal to earn. Is it truly, really, fulfilling, I should say, to win it? Because it's not a sport where the U.S. is not necessarily great at, or it's something that the rest of the world plays that we're still catching up on. Like one is for soccer, if you want to name a sport like that. Not just for the Olympics, but also for like the World Cup as well. That to me would be truly amazing to see that, because that's just not our sport. We're slowly coming along. Certainly expectations hasn't been there yet, or in terms of living up to the expectations. But when you look at for the NFL, like, does anyone really in the rest of the world truly care or put that much weight into winning a medal for flag football? I don't think so. Like, obviously it'd be an embarrassment if the U.S. comes up short and doesn't get the opportunity to win the gold medal or play in the gold medal game. So it's really just there's no benefit. There's very little benefit, and there's huge risk in this. If you lose, it's absolutely embarrassing at the world level. If you win, it's pretty much expected, because again, the talent is just so much lopsided. And there might be players that go into different play for different countries for their respective places, whether it's where they're born or their family, whatever it may be. So maybe that might raise the level of talent across the teams all across the board here with that. But it's overall, if you're just looking for the U.S. and the rest of the world, to me it just doesn't seem exciting to be honest. It just seems like such a gimme, obvious award for that. It would be more exciting if you just let non-NFL players play in it and just let other people in the U.S., whoever play, who play that for a living or do that much more for the flag football side of it, let them play it, and then that'd be a little bit more exciting because maybe the U.S. will still be great at it or still be above everyone else, but it's more certainly more balanced than just NFL professional players being that. To me, again, that's very that's a cheat code, no doubt about that. Again, putting out all the top people at this stage like that. Got another one. Like, can you imagine if someone from a different country trying to lock down Tyreek Hill at that point, if he's still able to, if he still wants to play at that point, or again going back to Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, is really someone from Mexico that's going to be able to lock them down, or for whatever set of country that you want to put in there. I just don't see that. So in terms of just my excitement for that, I'll still watch it. I'll still check it out, no doubt about that. But it's something that I'll still root for US, of course, for all the games are in. But it's nothing too exciting. It's not something like, wow, this is going to be the top of my list. I want to see that. I'm truly passionate about it. It's just pretty much a gimme at this point. It's what kind of the USA basketball used to be, where it was a gimme. They were going to win it. But not like as much. But it could be like how it is now, where just other countries just slowly catch up and they close the gap. And you've seen that in recent years in the Olympics for the U.S., where it's not as easy, or it's not as convincing, it's not as smooth sailing for them to just instantly win. There are a few times in the Olympics shortcomings for that. There's some difficulties. Even though they do end up winning the gold medal, it is a little bit dicey at times. So maybe eventually maybe the Olympics gets to that for flag football, and other countries catch up to that. But for right now in this first one, I would feel like just an early projection, it's going to be like the dream team from the 90s for the basketball. It's just going to be, they're going to be blowing people out. It's not going to be that exciting in terms of competitiveness. So that's really my thoughts on that. With it, again, it's a very gimme award for the gold medal, and I get it because it's a high prestigious award for any athlete to represent their country and be at the world stage like that, and to win it and be in the moment. It's not every year; it's every 4 years. For some of these players, it might be their only option because of age. Though it's flag football is a much different type of physicality, different sport as opposed to NFL, how they play. But still, I mean, it's again, it's still a long time in between there. So a lot of things can change over 4 years. So I get it for players that they want to do it because it's again doesn't come around too often. It's brand new Olympics and so forth. So I get that appeal to it. It just, again, I don't really see it being too competitive in that regard. Other things too is just the injury risk. No doubt they'll have everything again ironed out with the NFLPA and so forth, and I'm sure there'll be insurances if players do go down, so players don't have to worry about not getting paid because of right now it's kind of considered non-NFL related stuff. With that, if they do get hurt, but even still, I mean, it's a huge risk to lose your top player if they do go at that point. I mean, let's just say flag football is happening right now, and Saquon Barkley was playing it, and he tears his ACL or does something. He's out for the rest of the year, out for the upcoming season. That is a huge loss for them trying to look for to repeat and go back to back. Losing Saquon Barkley is a huge loss, and yes, he'll be fine. He'll come back the year after. He'll get his money, but in terms of just for the fans, for the team, and so forth, and trying to go for the Super Bowl, it's a huge blow. They're still gonna be a good team, but that could be the difference maker right there. I mean, Saquon Barkley was a huge part of them going to the Super Bowl and had some help in winning it. He didn't have a great game in that one, but he did have the defense focus on him and open things up for everyone else. But he was a driving force for that one. He was the best running back this past year. So if a player like that goes down, that is huge. That is detrimental. No doubt about that. So even if there is insurance there, no one still wants to see that. That's still gonna be filled with controversy with that. So I think there have been, I think early 2000s and so forth. If I have it correctly, there have been some high profile players or some players that got hurt in the Pro Bowl, which why they kind of went away with they've changed it up over the years. So I mean, you look at that. If I have that correctly, if I don't, apologize. But it's for this one, we got for the injury side of it, I do have some concern with it, especially for my team, for the Bills. I particularly wouldn't want to see someone. I understand if they want to go there. It'd be cool again to see them on the world stage, but in terms of injury risk, it just, you want to run that. And it's not like football where it's head-on collisions and so forth, and violent, for that, compared to flag football where it's completely 180 of it, but still there is the risk of injury as well. So with that, even still, for the 32-0 vote, I'm surprised that it was 100% for the vote. I thought there'd be some pushback from owners for it, but again, I think it really just comes down to just marketing and so forth, viewership and all that. That's what everything matters at the end of the day for it. So I shouldn't be surprised at all of it, but at the same time, I am a little surprised that there wasn't a few votes for that. Maybe being like 29 to 30 votes at the very least, not being 100% with it. So we'll see. Again, I'm still a long ways away for the flag football and everything being ironed out and being official once we get to that point. So we still have a few years from that, but it's so it'll be exciting regardless of how I feel about it being a little bit down on the part of the sport. But it's again, it'll still be exciting to see these guys at the Olympic level and the world stage and see what they do there. It'd be kind of interesting to see how bad they can blow out teams at that point. So again, we'll see. It's gonna be exciting. Can't wait to see these guys at the Olympic level in 2028.